Now in Abuja, where there was a fire outbreak at the Supreme Court on Monday, the fire incident started at about 8 a.m. from the Justice Chamber 5 on the 4th floor. Amid speculation of a possible sabotage of the fire incident at the Supreme Court, the Fire Service Abuja Command has released a preliminary report. I'm joined now by the Assistant Controller of Fire, PRO of the Federal Fire Service, Paul Abraham, who joins us live for more on this development. What's the highlight of this report, particularly with the many sides of the stories we've heard about what happened on Monday?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that question. The highlight, it's simple. We got a running call at about 7:30 in the morning to the fire station. We have a Federal Fire Service station at the NJC, and that is just down the complex within the Supreme Court complex. So the running call simply means somebody ran from upstairs to tell our men that there was a fire incident. So immediately we deployed to the scene of the incident. And then while doing some size up to ascertain the scale of the fire, they immediately and professionally called for the State House Fire Service. The State House Fire Service is also manned by the men of the Federal Fire Service as backup. And of course, considering that it's confined space, the door is a security-proof door, and there's a lot of fuel, considering that you have plenty of papers, files, cabinets, and all that. At the time of approaching the incident, it was a fully blown Inferno, but our men were up to the task and were able to put the fire, to check.
Are you saying that your preliminary investigation did not discover any form of sabotage or an attack on the Supreme Court?
Well, at the immediate, preliminary investigation has not shown that, but the IIE, that's the Inspection, Investigation and Enforcement Unit, headed by ACG Oladuni, at the marching order of the Controller General, Engineer Jaji Abdulganiu, had moved into the Supreme Court. They are still picking out items, picking out particles here and there. We don't have any confirmation yet.
There have also been concerns about how long it took to curtail the fire, if the building itself had sprinklers and was built in such a way to avoid fire incidents in the first place.
Well, when you talk of how long, like I said, we got a running call, and the fire station is right within the complex. But it was a fire that we didn't know the exact time it started, so we hope that investigation will also reveal that. But the running call was simply running downstairs to shout fire, fire, and then, of course, the men had to deploy immediately to the scene. As to how long it took, it didn't take so long to put out the fire once the professionals were there. I think the challenge they had in the first place was assessing, the office, considering that is a security-proof door. It took some reasonable amount of time to assess, and being that the fire was no longer at the incipient stage, there was fuel, there was oxygen, and there was plenty of heat. The fire had, advanced to a fairly reasonable height. But however, it took professionalism to put it down. If not, we would have had more stories to tell.
We have to go now, Mr. Abraham. Precisely how long more before, we can hear about this fuller investigation you talked about?
Well, maybe in the coming week. I'm sure that all hands are on deck, especially in the investigation unit. So in the coming week, we should be able to unravel the remote cause of the fire incident at the Supreme Court.
Paul Abraham, Assistant Controller of Fire, Public Relations Officer of the Federal Fire Service. Thank you for talking to us on the news tonight.